And I was doing really hard work, and I was gone from home all the time, and I had this thought that I would go to college in my own strength. It wasn't Bible college. I just thought I'd go to college. So I went and took the ACT, and I didn't do all that good, but I did all that much better than so many other people, knuckleheads fresh out of school in particular, because the lady told me, you've been out of high school so long, don't expect to do very well on this test. Well, when they saw my test results, they said, for someone who's been out of school as long as you have, you did pretty good. We would like to offer you a full scholarship to go to college in northern Mississippi. Now, that wasn't so bad, except that I lived in southern Mississippi, and it wasn't like I could drive down the road and go. I had to move my family. And I said, man, I ain't moving my family just to go to college. Think that one through just a minute. I had the potential. Y'all, you can't tell it now, but when I was younger, I was pretty smart. It's gone. You'll figure it out. The older ones are going, uh-huh. The younger ones are going, huh? You'll get it later. You'll get that one later. Years later for some of you. When I was younger, my brain worked. Whoo! I was sharper than a tack, man. I was ready. I had potential, but I never saw it through. I said, I can't go to college. I can't do those things. What makes the difference? God didn't want me to go to college at northern Mississippi. I don't even remember the name of the school anymore. You remember? I don't remember. One of them. Delta State, that was it. Delta State University. Some famous people played football there, I think. That might have been somewhere else. See, I had potential. I had potential, but it wasn't God's potential. It was just the brain that I had. God says, no, see, I've kind of got this other plan for you, so I'm going to let you keep working in that oil field and sawing up logs and doing all that stuff till I'm ready. But you got to let God be your potential, because it's His power that we want, not my power. All right? God is our potential. When God is our potential, you can't say, I can't. You say, I'll try, I'll do my best, and God will make up the difference. What an attitude. Let me give you point number 2. When you are God's potential. When you are God's potential. See, if God is your potential, He's your power. When you become God's potential, that means God's working in your life. God is operating in your life. You're understanding. You're hooking up with God. And what a difference it's going to make. Philippians 4:13, most of you can quote this, but let's look at Philippians 4:13. What does it say? I can do some things. Read it with me. I can do some things through Christ who strengthens me. Did we read that right? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's read it again. You ready? I can do the easy things through Christ who strengthens me. Still missed it again? Still missed it again? Surely that doesn't say what it looks like from this distance, but my eyes are failing too. Let's read it again. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. How many? All. Friends, if you are God's potential, look at the word strength. Whose power is it? What is the potential there? It's God's power. It's God's strength working in me. Young people, if you'll give your life to God, and you say, because I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight. I realize it's graduation and y'all have things and all, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, a little bit more. But if you will allow yourself to be God's potential, wow. The other night, we were watching Joel Osteen on TV, and Joel says a lot of things that worry me. Sometimes it sounds like some form of prosperity gospel, you know. He always says, you'll get that raise. You're going to get that promotion. Your business is going to thrive. And none of those are bad things in and of themselves. But this night, he said about 3 times, you got to have a can-do attitude. And I wasn't liking that all that much. I was thinking, man, you can't say that. But then it dawned on me, what does that verse say? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You have got to have a can-do attitude. You just got to realize who the can-do is. It's you with Christ as your strength. Because you and I cannot do all things. We recognize our, I almost said disabilities, and then I almost said liabilities, lack of abilities. I don't even know what word I'm looking for there, though. We know our limitations, and so we sometimes hold back because our limitations, we view them as worse than other people do. So I want to tell you today, actually regardless of your age, because there's kids on down this way that are not even graduates yet. You might be 14 years old and thinking about this. Man, what am I going to do when I get done with school? How much is a gallon of gas going to cost in 5 years? See, you know what that is? If you ask yourself that question, what is it going to cost to go to college? That's parents asking that question. If we begin to look at those things, do you see what we're beginning to do? We're boxing ourselves into the limitations that we create for ourselves. I just saw on TV the other day, bike sales are up 18% in Des Moines, Iowa. Woo! You know what? Where were we at? We saw some old, well, they could be visiting today. I better watch out. In Moravia, we saw a couple of seasoned veteran bicycle riders. I don't know how old they were. They were our age for sure. We were riding uptown to cruise. You know, we cruise. Just don't cruise much no more. We cruise the square and run home because can't afford cruising. But I said, you know, if we were on bicycles, we'd be losing weight right now and exercising and feeling better. But we in a Cadillac with the windows up in the air on, looking at old people on bicycles going, what are they doing? You know what they're doing? They're not buying gasoline. That's what they're doing. I got to think, I might buy my wife a bike. And she'd let me ride it. Wow. You see, the potential is so great, but we build the limitations. We start saying, I can and can't never could and won't never would, and we don't plan for the future. We hope it turns out all right. Man, I tell people this too. When I have young couples coming in to be married, I tell them, don't wait until you can afford it to start a savings account. And put that savings account where you can't just go get it. Because if you can run to the bank and get it, about every other Monday, you're going to be a little short. And you're going to be stealing it out of that savings account. But if you'll put it somewhere where you can't easily get it, and you're young, whoo! See, the potential will be, you don't even have to put a lot. You'll have something later on. That's what God sees in us. We are God's savings account. He sees potential in us that we don't see in ourselves. But we have to go to work for God. We have to let God be our potential. We have to see the abilities God has, and then we have to let Him see what we can do. And boy, when you put those two together, wow! When you put those two together, the world becomes your potential. Matthew 17:20. So Jesus said to them, because of your unbelief, I'm going to get to that in a second,